Chapter 21, The Battle of Uhud. The Quraysh, who experienced a heavy defeat at Badr, were pressuring their leader Abu Sufyan to seek revenge from the Muslims, and immediately began preparations for battle. The goods of the caravan that had served as the catalyst for the Battle of Badr were being safeguarded in Dar al-Nadwa, and were given to the command of Abu Sufyan to be used against the Muslims. Alongside their feelings of vengeance, the Muslims blocking the Syria-Egypt trade routes and their raids on Qurayshi caravans had the Meccans worried. 1 year after the Battle of Badr, the Quraysh set off towards Medina with a force of 3,000 men, gathered with assistance from neighbouring allied and related tribes. Prophet Muhammad did not want to fight the Quraysh, filled with the hatred and animosity of the age of ignorance and wanting to avenge Badr outside Medina. However, upon the insistence of some youth who had not participated in Badr, and some of the helpers angered by the enemy force's destruction of their fields and orchards, the Prophet decided to set off for Uhud, 5.5 kilometers away from the city, with a force of 1,000 men. On the way, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul withdrew from the army with 300 of his men, returning to Medina. Reaching the foothills of Mount Uhud with the 700 remaining companions, Prophet Muhammad gave the largest standard of the Muslims to Mus'ab ibn Umayr, the standard of the Aus tribe to Usaid ibn Qudayr, and the standard of the Khazraj tribe to Sa'id ibn Hubab. He posted 50 archers under the command of Abdullah ibn Jubayr to guard the rear, and ordered them not to leave their posts irrespective of the course of events during battle. The two forces met on the 3rd of Shawwal, Saturday the 3rd of March 625, and the Muslims initially pushed the Quraysh back, forcing them to retreat. Seeing the enemy fleeing, the archers abandoned their post despite the persistent commands of their commander Abdullah ibn Jubayr not to do so, and sought to collect the war spoils. Appreciating the strategic importance of the Ain Pass, just like Prophet Muhammad, the cavalry commander of the Meccan forces, Khalid ibn Walid, in a single move that would change the course of the battle, attacked the Muslim army from behind when he saw that the archers had left their posts, killing the remaining archers. Following this move, the course of the battle changed in an instant, and 70 Muslims were martyred. First and foremost, the Prophet's uncle Hamza. Among those killed were Abdullah ibn Jahsh, Mus'ab ibn Umayr, and Abdullah ibn Jubayr. Prophet Muhammad was injured when the rings in his helmet pierced his temples. His bottom lip bled and one of his teeth were broken. Moreover, the fighting slowed down with the circulation of rumours that the Prophet had been killed. Retreating to the foothills of Mount Uhud, the Muslims gathered around Prophet Muhammad, while the Meccan polytheists gathered around Abu Sufyan. The two armies thus separated, and the battle came to an end. With their losses in battle said to be 37 or around 22 in the accounts, the Quraysh felt as though they had avenged their defeat at Badr. They had not been able to kill the Prophet, but martyred his uncle Hamza. Abu Sufyan's wife Hind bint Utbah, avenging the death of her father Utbah, brother Walid, and uncle Shayba at Badr, removed Hamza's liver and chewed it, and gave Wahshi, who killed Hamza with his spear, the reward she had promised him. The polytheists mutilating the bodies of the Muslims martyred at Uhud, cutting off body parts such as their ears and nose, in a ritual known as Musla, deeply distressed and saddened the Muslims. And in response to this, some of the Muslims wanted to reciprocate with exactly the same treatment of the bodies of the Meccan polytheists. However, they abandoned this idea upon the revelation of the 126th verse of the Quranic chapter entitled Al-Nal, directly relating to this, and the specific injunctions of the Prophet. Prophet Muhammad never forgot those martyred at Uhud, visiting them every year and revisiting them in the last days before his demise. The Battle of Uhud came to be remembered by Muslims in succeeding generations, serving as a reminder to take the necessary lessons therein. Around 10 women companions participated in the Battle of Uhud and carried out such services as distribution of water to the troops and tending to the wounded. Among them was the Prophet's freed slave Ayman, as well as Umara, his daughter Fatima, his wife Aisha, and Sulaim. Sulaim, in particular, personally fought alongside the Prophet when the situation for the Muslims worsened, and Fatima nursed the Prophet when he was wounded. It is important to note in relation to the Battle of Uhud that had the Muslims dealt a huge blow to the Quraysh as they had done at Badr, the Prophet's reaching his actual aim, that is winning over the Quraysh, would perhaps have been made more difficult. The feelings of hatred and revenge fostered by the age of ignorance mindset would have continued and heightened within the tribe, and the possibilities presented by the Treaty of Hudaybiyah would not have been realized.